Hello everyone. It is day one of the vlog. I just got back from work and I am getting ready to start one of these 3 books. The 3 books that I'm trying to get to this week are The Paris Apartment, Finlay Donovan is Killing It, and Stalking Jack the Ripper. I've heard great things about all 3 of these books, so I'm really anticipating this week just being like knocking it out of the park. I have both The Paris Apartment and Finlay Donovan is Killing It on my 22 books that I want to get to in 2022. So I'm very excited about reading these 2, although I've heard great things about Stalking Jack the Ripper as well. I am thinking that today I might start with The Paris Apartment, just because this is the book of the month pick for Kayla from Book and Lala's book club, and I want to get this done, pretty early, be able to participate in those conversations. So this one's definitely a top priority. And then after that, I will just see what I'm feeling for the next 2 and figure out what I'm gonna read later. So that being said, I'm going to go start this and I will check in with you in a bit. Okay, so small update. I am now about 100 pages out from the end of the book, and it definitely started kind of slow, as you would expect. There's so many characters that we're trying to get used to, but things have picked up. I would say that I like it more than the guest list, although I had this feeling when I was reading the guest list as well, where I felt like most of it was kind of dull, and then the ending when all of the big, things came through, that's when it was oh wow. So I'm still holding out hope for this book. I just wrapped up The Paris Apartment and there were some good twists in here. I definitely had a feeling about the ending, but not necessarily exactly how it happened. I love how all the characters intertwined, especially how it all wrapped up at the end. I would say I think I still like the guest list better. I just liked, the isolated location, where they were all on this island versus this, they do go out into Paris a bit, so it's not strictly in the apartment. I did like how this was kind of 24 hours versus this kind of went over a longer period of time. And then the other thing that I liked about the guest list was that from the beginning you already kind of knew how everyone was related. Everyone is here for a wedding, they all know either the bride or the groom, and then from that starting point you got to see a little bit more of the history with all these individuals, versus this one it took longer because you don't know how they're related right off the bat, and you spend a lot of time just figuring out how the individuals are related to Ben, who is our main missing person in this book, as compared to you know, trying to figure out how everyone relates to each other. Whereas in this book, like I mentioned, you already know how they relate to the bride and groom, and then you're just looking at how these characters relate to each other. So overall, I think I am going to give this one a 4.0. I really, really enjoyed it, but it wasn't like 100% there for me. But I am so glad that I got this and that I read it. It was just a great time. Both of these books, amazing. Would highly suggest. What a fun time. So now that I've wrapped up that book, I have to figure out which of these next two books that I want to read. And I have no idea. I don't know, I feel like I'm kind of leaning towards this one just because it was on my top 22 books that I want to read in 2022. I just got off work and it's been a day or two, I believe, since my last check-in, and I have finished Finlay Donovan is Killing It. I know I did not take check in mid-book, so surprise, it's done. This was a super fun book. I loved getting to know the characters in this book, and the story was so different from what I expected, but like it was just really good. I was thinking about like checking in at that like 30% mark, because basically what I went into this book thinking was that it was going to be just the entire book about killing this person that this lady has requested that she kill, but actually, and I don't think this is a spoiler because it's like at 30%, but at 30% of the way through, she actually like, that deed is done. So then the rest of the book kind of turns more into a mystery, like the book cover says. And so that was actually a really fun ride, and I think I preferred it to whatever I was thinking, just because I feel like a whole book about like trying to figure out how to kill one guy is probably pretty boring. So I actually really liked what she did with this book. I loved the introduction of some of these other characters. You know, originally I thought it was just going to be Finlay Donovan and that's going to be the entire story, but like there's a whole cast of characters that are just really fun. The story gets built out very well, and I just really enjoyed it. Now I'm super excited about the second book, even though I heard that it's not as good as this first book, but either way, I'm just excited to continue the story with all of these characters. The ending definitely, it left you on a cliffhanger, and I want to know what happens. So yes, very excited about this. I gave it a 4-star. And then since I've gotten home, I've read about 10 pages of this Stalking Jack the Ripper, and I am just really excited about this book. I don't know that much about it. Like, I just heard a bunch of people say that's great and I picked it up. So like, I don't even know if I like have read the back. I'm just going into it completely blind. But what I've gotten so far is we're following our main character, and she actually, this is set in like, I don't know, 1800s. I think it mentioned 1883 or something like that. And it's all about our main character who is like kind of disguising herself to be and look like a boy, so that she can go attend these like medical school to basically learn how to deal with like dead bodies and evaluate what's happened to them, and she's doing this like in her uncle's like laboratory, and so that's how she kind of got the in, and so that's where we've started. And I mean, already from the first little bit, I'm just thinking of all these different ways that the book could go, and I am excited about all of them. So I'm very excited to keep reading. And I mean, last things last, we love a woman in STEM, especially when she's in a time period where she shouldn't, or society thinks she shouldn't be in sciences. My plan for the night is to cook some dinner and then get back to reading this. So I will check in with you later. Okay, so ignore me like literally being in bed, but I just got like 50% of the way through this book, and like there is not one thing that I'm not loving about this book. Like, I love the setting, I love the characters, I love the little bit of romance, I love the mystery. Like, it's just so good. Like, look at this. There are like letters, so like you have different fonts in here. I just got to one. Let me find another one that's like a different font. Like, look at that. There's letters, there's like a news article in here. I know, here I just saw it, like a little news article font. There are like every single chapter has like the chapter name with the blood splatter, like the location, the date. There's a whole bunch of like photos in the book too. Like, everything about it is just like amazing. I love this book. And like, I'm just having such a fun time. Like, I'm getting so emotionally attached to these characters, and like, I just love the setting of the entire thing. I don't know, I'm just enjoying it so much. And like, someone has been arrested for the murder, but like we're halfway through, so obviously it's not the person. But like, if you know what point I'm at, like, you know. And like, they just got a letter from Jack the Ripper, and so like sus is being thrown, and like, it's just so good, and I'm so excited. There's like 2000% I am finishing this book tomorrow, and I am just so excited. I feel like as soon as I finish this book, I'm going to want to go get the second book and the third book and the fourth book and just like binge them all. I don't have time for that, but I want to. I'm like, I need to stop myself because tonight's a work night, so like, I can't stay up all night, but I want to. Anyways, that's my like half point update. So excited. Hello everyone. All right, back to the usual setup. I finished Stalking Jack the Ripper last night, and since I knew I was going to be filming anyways today, I thought I would just give my recap now. You saw my like midway like 50% point, and I would say that overall I feel pretty much the same about this book at the end of it as well. Again, I just liked the characters, I liked the time period, I liked how she was interested in science, which wasn't really an approved thing for girls during this time period. Like, I just feel like, even though I understand some people's complaints with this book, that like this book was written for me. Like, it had all my interests, check mark, check mark, check mark, you know? So I still really enjoyed it. I would say that the ending wasn't like fulfilling. I think like the ending just kind of felt a little misplaced or like a little rushed, and just like not as compelling. So that was a little bit upsetting, but overall I still really enjoyed the book. Also, I mean, like I showed you guys before, like I loved all of the kind of design that went into the book, whether it was different fonts or the pictures included or all the little like chapter titles and things like that. So like literally everything was just like right up my alley. I think I ended up giving this one like a 4.75. Like I said, I really enjoyed it. I don't think it's like a 5-star. I think I've just been too picky with books recently, but like this one's wouldn't be a 5-star. But I still really enjoyed it, and I'm very excited to continue with the rest of the books. That was my most anticipated reading vlog, I guess. I'm very happy with the reading experience of all of these books. I really enjoyed all of them, and I am so glad that I just had a great reading experience for March so far. I am very excited about picking up both of the sequels to these books, and I'll be anticipating anything else that Lucy Foley writes. So I'm excited for some other options. Thank you for watching my first ever vlog. Until next time, keep reading!